John looked around the chamber at the aliens who had once dismissed humans as barely worth notice. The greatest mistake was thinking that our politeness was our true nature. Humans can be polite, yes. We can follow rules and customs that aren't our own. But that's a choice we make, not who we truly are. And who are humans, truly? Asked Counselor Draff. John smiled. We are explorers and defenders. We seek peace but prepare for war. We extend friendship to all, but we will fight without mercy if that friendship is betrayed. Most importantly, we are no longer hiding who we are. As the council session continued, ships from Earth traveled openly through council space. Human technology was now shared with trusted allies. The polite mask was gone, replaced by honest strength. And throughout the galaxy, a new saying spread among the stars. Make friends with humans if you can. Make enemies of them only if you must. But never ever mistake their politeness for weakness. 3 months had passed since the day the Council saw humanity's true face. The Galactic Council chamber looked different now. The seats had been rearranged. No longer were they in rising circles with the newest members farthest away. Now they formed a true circle with all representatives at the same level. John Mitchell entered the chamber wearing a new uniform. As Earth's ambassador, he now also carried the title of Council Executive, one of 5 leaders who guided council policy. Ambassador Mitchell greeted the Jorian representative, crystal body glowing with a respectful blue light. The new trade agreement is ready for your review. John nodded. Thank you. I'll look at it this afternoon. He walked to his seat, noticing how different the atmosphere felt. The aliens who once looked down on humans now showed respect, even admiration. Some still showed fear, but it was a fear mixed with acceptance. The main screen activated, showing Major Olivia Carter. She stood on the bridge of a new ship, larger and more advanced than the Frontier. The name U.S. Peacekeeper could be seen on a panel behind her. Good morning, Council, Olivia said. I'm happy to report that the Joint Human-Jorian Patrol of the border regions is proceeding well. Our ships have worked together to stop 3 pirate attacks this month. John smiled. After the Vraxian incident, many council species had asked to learn from humans. The Jorians had been the first to request joint military operations, eager to understand human tactics and technology. Thank you, Major, John replied. The Council appreciates your reports. As Olivia's image disappeared, Admiral Sam Evans appeared on screen. He was standing in what was now known to all as Earth Command Central, the massive underground facility that coordinated all human military forces. Ambassador, the Vraxian delegation has arrived at Mars Station for the peace talks, Evans reported. Their new ambassador seems more reasonable than Krastor. Good, John said. Make sure they're treated with full diplomatic courtesy. After the failed attack, the Vraxian government had undergone major changes. The military leaders who had ordered the attack were removed from power. The new government had requested peace talks, recognizing that they could not win a war against Earth. Kate Wilson approached John with a datapad. Sir, Lieutenant Lucy Powell is ready to give her presentation. John nodded and turned to the council. Representatives, today we have something special to share. Lieutenant Powell has been studying council history and has some interesting observations to make. A young woman in a science officer's uniform appeared on the main screen. She had dark skin and curly hair cut short above her shoulders. Thank you, Ambassador, Lucy said. Over the past 3 months, I've been analyzing the records of how various species joined the council. What I found was surprising. The screen showed charts and images as Lucy continued. Almost every species hid their true capabilities when first joining. The Jorians concealed their crystal technology. The Trilaxians didn't reveal their full neural network abilities. Even the Vraxians held back information about their planetary weapons. A murmur went through the chamber as representatives shifted uncomfortably. The difference, Lucy explained, is that humans were better at hiding. We had more practice. On Earth, nations kept secrets from each other for centuries. We learned to show only what we wanted others to see. John stood and addressed the council. Lieutenant Powell's research shows something important. We all have reasons to be cautious with new allies. Humans weren't uniquely deceptive. We were just uniquely good at it. The council leader, who now shared power with John and 3 others, spoke up. The events of 3 months ago taught us much. We judged humans too quickly, seeing them as primitive because they were new to space travel. We failed to consider their other strengths. 4 hours had passed since the revelation of the plot against Earth. The council chamber remained in emergency session. Many representatives had called their governments for instructions. Others sat in shocked silence, watching the screens that showed the approaching Vraxian fleet. John Mitchell stood with Kate Wilson near the central platform, reviewing reports from Earth's ships and bases. The room felt tense, like the air before a storm. Ambassador, called the council leader. Representatives from the Trilaxian and Mavorian delegations wished to speak. John turned to face them. The Trilaxian's 8 legs moved nervously on the chamber floor. The Mavorian, a tall being with pale blue skin and 3 eyes, stood rigidly beside him. "We have contacted our governments," the Mavorian said. "They deny any involvement in the Vraxian plot." "Of course they do," John replied, "just as the Vraxians denied attacking the frontier until we showed the evidence." The Trilaxian's mandibles clicked. "We are prepared to prove our innocence. We will open all our military communications to council inspectors." John raised an eyebrow. "That's a start. But we'll need more than that too." He was interrupted by Admiral Evans appearing on the main screen. "Ambassador, we have a situation. The Vraxian fleet has split into 3 groups. They're trying to bypass the Jupiter defense line. Activate second-tier countermeasures," John ordered. "Track all groups but maintain defensive positions only." The screen showed human ships moving to intercept the Vraxian fleet. Unlike the Vraxians, who moved in tight formations, the human vessels spread out in patterns that seemed random at first glance. "What is this strategy?" asked the Shorian ambassador. "Your ships are too far apart to support each other." Before John could answer, space between the human ships suddenly lit up with energy. Hidden defense platforms, previously invisible to all sensors, activated and created a web of intersecting force fields. "We don't rely on ships alone," John explained. "This is a defense grid. The ships are just part of a larger system." The Vraxian fleet fired at the human positions. Their weapons were powerful, designed to destroy planets. But when they hit the energy web, something unexpected happened. The energy didn't break through. Instead, it traveled along the web, dispersing and weakening. "Amazing," whispered Counselor Draff. "They're absorbing the attacks." On another screen, Olivia Carter appeared from the bridge of the frontier. Her ship had been repaired enough to function, though damage was still visible. "Ambassador, I have important news," she said. "We've completed our analysis of the Vraxian command codes. We can shut down their weapons remotely." Murmurs of shock ran through the council chamber. The ability to disable an enemy's weapon systems remotely was something even the most advanced council species had never achieved. "Do it," John ordered. "Target their weapons only. Leave life support and engines functioning." Olivia nodded and turned to her crew. "Lieutenant Foster, input the shutdown codes. Target all Vraxian weapon systems." Greg Foster worked quickly at his console. "Codes transmitted, ma'am." Effect in 3, 2, 1. On the main screen, the Vraxian ships continued to approach the human defense line. But when they tried to fire again, nothing happened. Ship after ship fell silent as their weapon systems shut down completely. "Impossible," said the Mavorian representative. "No species has such technology." "We do," John said simply. "And we've had it for years. We just never had a reason to use it until now." Admiral Evans appeared again. "Ambassador, the Vraxian fleet has stopped advancing. They're holding position just outside the Jupiter defense line." A new face appeared on one of the screens, a Vraxian military commander. His scales, pale with anger or fear, glared at the council. "What have you done to our ships?" he demanded. John stepped forward. We disabled your weapon systems. Your life support and engines still work. You can go home, or you can stay there powerless. The choice is yours. The Vraxian commander's eyes narrowed. This is not over, human. The Imperium will not forget this humiliation. It's not meant to be a humiliation, John replied. It's meant to be a lesson. We don't want to fight you. We never did. But we will not allow anyone to threaten Earth or its people. In the council chamber, representatives watched in amazement as the mighty Vraxian fleet hung helpless in space. What should have been a battle had ended before it truly began. Ambassador Mitchell, said the council leader quietly, I believe it is time for the council to reconsider humanity's position among us. The council chamber was in chaos. Representatives argued loudly with each other while emergency messages came in from their homeworlds. The revelation of humanity's hidden strength had caused panic throughout council space. The council leader called for order, all 6 eyes fixed on the Vraxian ambassador. Krastor, your government has pushed us to the edge of war. Call back your battle fleet immediately. Krastor stood tall, his 4 arms crossed over his chest. The Vraxian Imperium does not take orders from the council. The humans have revealed themselves as a threat to all civilized species. We will deal with this threat. Your first attack failed, John Mitchell said calmly. What makes you think your main fleet will do any better? You caught a small patrol group by surprise. Krastor hissed. Our battle fleet has destroyed entire civilizations. John shook his head. No, Ambassador. Your ships weren't surprised. They were overconfident. They attacked because they thought humans were weak. Now you know better, yet you're making the same mistake again. Kate Wilson approached John with another datapad. After reading it, John looked up at the council. I just received word from Earth Command. We're activating our final defensive measures. What does that mean? Asked the Jorian ambassador. In answer, the main screen changed to show a view of Earth from space. At first, nothing seemed different. Then, slowly, patches of the planet's surface began to shift. Enormous doors opened in mountain ranges. Strange structures rose from beneath the oceans. The North and South poles glowed with energy as hidden installations powered up. By the first ones, whispered Counselor Drav, your entire planet is a fortress. Earth has faced extinction several times in our history, John explained. We've learned to be prepared. What you're seeing are defensive systems we built before we even met the Council. We kept them dormant as a sign of good faith. On another screen, Admiral Evans watched the readings from his command center. Ambassador, the Vraxian fleet has increased speed. They'll reach the Jupiter defense line in 5 hours. Prepare first-tier countermeasures, John ordered. But hold fire unless they attack first. The council leader turned to Krastor. This is madness. You've seen what the humans can do. Call back your fleet before it's too late. The Vraxian ambassador didn't respond. Instead, he pressed something on his wrist device and began to walk toward the chamber door. Where are you going? Demanded the leader. To a safe place, Krastor replied without turning. The humans must be eliminated before they grow any stronger. John Mitchell's face hardened. Admiral Evans, the Vraxian ambassador, may be activating additional forces, track his movements, and be ready for anything. Yes, sir, Evans replied. And sir, Major Carter's team has finished analyzing the Vraxian data cores. You need to see this immediately. The screen split to show Olivia Carter. Her face was now cleaned of blood, but she looked grim. Ambassador, we found evidence that the Vraxians weren't acting alone. Their attack plans were coordinated with 2 other council species. A shocked silence fell over the chamber. Which species? John asked, his voice dangerously quiet. Olivia looked uncomfortable. Sir, I think it would be better to share that information privately. No, John said firmly. The Council is going to learn what real human diplomacy looks like. That starts with complete transparency. Name them. Olivia nodded. The data shows the Vraxians were working with the Trilaxians and the Mavorians. They planned to divide human territory after eliminating our major outposts. All eyes turned to the Trilaxian representative. The giant spider-like alien's mandibles clicked rapidly in what might have been alarm. "This is a Vraxian trick," the Trilaxian insisted. "We have always supported peace." John ignored the denial and addressed the entire council. "3 of your member species conspired to attack Earth. Under council law, we have the right to defend ourselves by any means necessary." "What will you do?" asked the council leader, fear evident in all 6 eyes. John looked around the chamber. "That depends on what happens in the next 5 hours. If the Vraxian fleet attacks, we will respond. And if we find that other council members are supporting this aggression, they will face the same response." "You would go to war with multiple council species," gasped Councillor Draff. "No," John said, his voice level and calm. "We don't want war with anyone. But make no mistake, if forced to fight, humanity will not hold back again. The polite mask is off. Now you see us as we truly are." The council chamber fell silent as the representatives finally understood the truth. They had never really known humans at all. Admiral Evans appeared on screen again. "Ambassador, we've detected movement from the Vraxian homeworld. Their main battle fleet has left orbit and is heading toward council space." The chamber fell silent as all eyes turned to Krastor. The Vraxian scales had darkened to almost black with rage or fear. It was hard to tell which. "Is your government planning to start a full war?" John asked quietly. Before Krastor could answer, Admiral Evans spoke again. "Sir, I should also report that Earth's full defense grid is now online. The Jupiter fleet is moving to intercept the Vraxian battle group. First contact will occur in approximately 6 hours." John looked around the council chamber, meeting the eyes of each representative. "The choice is simple. Either the council enforces its own peace treaties, or Earth will defend itself. And I promise you, none of you want to see what happens when humanity goes to war." The council chamber stayed in session as reports came in from across council space. Screens showed human military bases appearing out of nowhere. Some had been disguised as small research stations. Others had been hidden inside asteroids or beneath the surfaces of moons. All were now fully active and openly showing their weapons. "How did we not detect these?" asked the Jorian ambassador, its crystal body flashing with confusion. "Because you saw what we wanted you to see," John Mitchell explained. "You scanned our bases with technology we already understood. Did you really think we would show our full hand when joining a group of advanced aliens we barely knew?" On the main screen, the battle with the Vraxians had ended. The human ships now surrounded the damaged alien vessels. Boarding parties in advanced spacesuits moved from ship to ship, collecting data and helping injured Vraxian crew members. Admiral Sam Evans appeared on another screen. "Ambassador, I have a full battle assessment. Do you want me to share it with the council?" John nodded. "Show them everything, Admiral. No more secrets." The main display changed to show a map of council space. Small dots of light appeared, representing human ships, bases, and defense systems. There were hundreds of them, far more than Earth had ever admitted to having. "This is impossible," said Councillor Draff. "Human production facilities could not create this many ships and bases in just 3 years." "We didn't," John said simply. "We had them before we joined the council. We just didn't mention it in our application." A nervous murmur ran through the chamber. The aliens were beginning to understand that they had completely misjudged humanity's technological level and military strength. Back at the nebula, Major Olivia Carter directed the cleanup operation from the bridge of the frontier. Despite the damage to her ship, she remained in command. "Captain Rivera," she called to one of the other ship commanders, "what's the status of the Vraxian crews?" 23 injured, no deaths, Rivera reported. "Their medical facilities were hit hard in the battle. We're treating their wounded on the U.S. Dauntless." Olivia nodded. "Good. Make sure they receive the same care as we would give our own people. I want complete documentation of their treatment." "Yes, ma'am," Rivera replied. "Though I must say, some of the crew are confused about why we're helping them after they try to kill us." "Because that's what humans do," Olivia said firmly. "We can fight when needed, but we don't abandon our principles when the fighting stops." In the council chamber, the alien representatives watched this exchange with growing confusion. Many species treated prisoners poorly, especially those who had attacked first. "Your ships and weapons are impressive," said the insect-like Trilaxian representative. "But what truly puzzles us is your restraint. You could have destroyed those Vraxian ships, yet you disabled them with minimal casualties, and now treat their wounded." John Mitchell smiled for the first time since the crisis began. "That's the part you never understood about humans. Our technology isn't what makes us dangerous. It's our ability to be both fierce warriors and compassionate healers, often in the same moment." The council leader raised all 6 hands for silence. "Ambassador Mitchell, the council must address this situation formally. The Vraxians have clearly violated our most sacred peace treaties, and while your hidden military capabilities are concerning, you used them in self-defense." Krastor, the Vraxian ambassador, stood up. "This is not just about one battle. The humans have deceived all of us. They claim to be peaceful explorers while hiding weapons that could threaten any world in the council." "We never claimed to be harmless," John countered. "We simply followed your ridiculous restrictions while maintaining our ability to defend ourselves. Ask yourselves this: if we wanted to conquer or destroy, why would we have played nice for 3 years?" The main screen in the council chamber showed the human ships circling the damaged Vraxian vessels like wolves around wounded prey. Earth's ships moved with perfect coordination, their weapons far more powerful than any council member had believed possible. On one of the side screens, a new face appeared. A stern-looking man with gray hair and a heavily decorated uniform sat in what appeared to be a large command center. "Ambassador Mitchell, Fleet Admiral Sam Evans reporting in. All Earth defense units are at full readiness. The hidden fleet near Jupiter has been activated. The Mars defense grid is online." John nodded. "Thank you, Admiral. Maintain defensive positions only for now." Council members looked at each other in confusion and growing fear. No one had known about a hidden fleet or a Mars defense grid. The humans had kept their true military strength secret all this time. "You speak of peace while revealing weapons of war," said the Trilaxian representative, clicking its mandibles nervously. "We speak of peace from a position of strength," John replied, "something the council might understand better than kindness." The Vraxian ambassador, Krastor, stood rigidly by his seat. "The council will not tolerate this show of force. The human ships must stand down immediately." "Or what?" John asked quietly. "Will you attack us like you attacked the frontier? I don't think that worked out very well for you." On the main screen, the battle near the nebula continued. The human ships moved in ways that defied normal space physics. They seemed to predict the Vraxian attacks before they happened. Major Carter called Captain Rivera from one of the newly arrived ships. The Vraxian vessels are attempting to call for reinforcements. Olivia, still bleeding but standing strong on her damaged bridge, nodded. "Let them. But jam their weapons codes. Let them call for help, not target data." In the council chamber, Kate Wilson approached John with a datapad. He studied it for a moment, then looked up at the council with cold eyes. "We've just decoded the Vraxian attack orders," he announced. "This wasn't a random patrol that got trigger-happy. This was a planned attack authorized by the highest levels of the Vraxian government." John tapped on the pad, and documents appeared on screens around the chamber. They intended to destroy the frontier and blame it on a nebula accident. Then they planned to attack 3 more human outposts in what they called Phase 1 of their operation. The council chamber erupted in shocked voices. Even species that had little love for humans were disturbed by such a blatant violation of council peace treaties. Krastor's gray scales darkened with anger. "These are fabrications. The humans created these documents to justify their hidden military buildup. The documents came from your own command ship's data core, John said calmly. Major Carter's team extracted them during the battle. Would you like to see the verification codes? Back at the battle, the Vraxian ships were now completely surrounded. Their main weapons had been disabled with surgical precision by the human vessels. Major, said Lisa Puddle from her communication station, we're receiving surrender signals from the Vraxian vessels. Olivia nodded. Accept their surrender. Prepare boarding parties. I want their data cores and any survivors treated according to Council prisoner protocols. Yes, ma'am, Greg Foster replied, though they wouldn't have shown us the same courtesy. That's the difference between us and them, Olivia said. We follow the rules even when others don't. We just don't follow them with one arm tied behind our back anymore. In the council chamber, the leader called for order as representatives argued among themselves. Some demanded sanctions against the Vraxians for the unprovoked attack. Others called for investigations into humanity's hidden military capabilities. John Mitchell stood in the center of the chaos, calm as stone. For 3 years, Earth has asked for equal treatment in this council. We've been denied at every turn. We've been called primitive, unpredictable, and dangerous. Perhaps now you understand why we chose to protect ourselves. Admiral Evans appeared on the screen again. Ambassador, we're detecting multiple ship movements throughout Council space. Several species are mobilizing their fleets. Defensive positions only, John ordered. But if anyone fires on a human ship or settlement, they get the same response the Vraxians did. The council leader, all 6 eyes blinking rapidly, turned to John. Ambassador Mitchell, this situation is unprecedented. The council must have time to discuss these revelations. Take all the time you need, John said. But understand this. Humanity is done pretending to be less than we are. The polite mask is off. What happens next is up to you. The council chamber remained silent as they watched the U.S. frontier change. What once looked like a simple research vessel now showed its true nature. Hidden weapon ports opened along its hull. The lights dimmed as power redirected to systems that weren't supposed to exist. What trickery is this? Krastor demanded, his 4 arms raised in anger. The humans have violated council technology restrictions. John Mitchell stood calmly in the center of the storm. No, Ambassador. We followed the letter of the law. The council required us to disclose our standard military capabilities. These are our special reserves. On the screen, Major Olivia Carter wiped blood from her face and sat straight in her command chair. Weapons systems online. Target Vraxian, lead ship's engines only. Show them we could destroy them, but choose not to. The council members watched as the frontier fired. The beam that shot out was unlike any human weapon they had seen before. It cut through the Vraxian shields like they were paper and precisely hit the engine section of the lead warship. Impossible, whispered a Tralaxian representative, all 8 of its eyes wide. Human weapons are not that advanced. The ones we showed you aren't, John said. The Vraxian ships began to fire back with greater power, but the frontier moved with unexpected speed. It spun and twisted in ways that seemed impossible for its size. Lieutenant Foster, activate the gravity manipulation system, Olivia ordered. Yes, ma'am, Greg replied with a grin. Nice to use our real tech for once. The frontier suddenly seemed to bend space around it. It jumped from one position to another without traveling the distance between. The council aliens gasped. You possess teleportation, demanded Counselor Draff. Not teleportation, John explained. Just advanced physics that we thought might make some of our neighbors nervous. In the council chamber, Kate Wilson approached John and whispered in his ear. He nodded and turned to the council leader. I need to use the emergency communication system, John said. Now. That is only for council-approved emergencies, the leader replied. John's face hardened. A council member being attacked by another council member seems like an emergency to me, unless you prefer we handle this in our own way. After a moment of silence, the leader nodded. John moved to the central platform and pressed his hand to the panel. Instead of using the standard council codes, he entered a sequence that no alien had seen before. This is Ambassador Mitchell to all Earth forces in Council space. Protocol Omega is now in effect. I repeat, Protocol Omega is in effect. Polite mode is off. Screens around the chamber lit up with responses from human ships and bases that many council members didn't even know existed. Outpost Delta acknowledges. Polite mode off. Earth Fleet Division 3 acknowledges. Polite mode off. Mars Defense Grid acknowledges. Polite mode off. John turned to face the stunned council. For 3 years, we have played by your rules. We have been good guests. We have smiled when you insulted us. We have accepted less than we deserved. We have hidden our true capabilities to make you comfortable with our presence. He pointed to the main screen where the Frontier was now easily outmaneuvering the Vraxian ships. That ends today. The Vraxians have attacked an Earth vessel without cause. The Council has done nothing to stop it. So now you get to see what humans are really capable of. You have deceived the Council, said the Shorian ambassador, its crystal body flashing with anger. We protected ourselves, John replied, just as any of you would do. On the screen, 6 more human ships appeared near the Frontier. They emerged from hiding places in the nebula that no sensors had detected. They were larger and more heavily armed than any human ships the Council had seen before. Captain Jack Rivera reporting, said a new voice over the communication system. Earth Defense Fleet has arrived. Orders, Major Carter. Olivia smiled. Disable the Vraxian vessels without destroying them. Ambassador Mitchell wants the Council to see what we can do, not what we choose not to do. The human ships moved in perfect formation, surrounding the Vraxian warships. They fired with precise, controlled bursts that targeted weapons and engines but avoided crew sections. In the Council chamber, Krastor stood rigid with shock and anger. This is an act of war against the Vraxian Imperium. John Mitchell turned to him slowly. No, Ambassador, this is humanity showing restraint. If we wanted war, you would already be losing it. The U.S. frontier shook as the Vraxian blast hit the shield. Red warning lights flashed across the bridge. Damage report, Olivia shouted over the alarm. Shields at 68%, Greg said. That was just a warning shot. They could have done much worse. Olivia gripped the edge of her command chair. Keep trying to contact them. Send emergency signals to Earth Command and the Council. Lisa worked quickly at her station. Sending now. But there's interference. The Vraxians are blocking our signals. Use the backup channels, Olivia ordered. The ones we're not supposed to have. Lisa nodded and opened a hidden panel beneath her console. While the Council thought human ships used standard communication systems, each vessel had secret tech that was more advanced than what Earth has shared. Second wave of Vraxian ships detected, Greg announced. They're moving to surround us. Olivia made a quick decision. Activate defensive measures only. No offensive weapons yet. We need to show we tried to follow Council rules. The ship rocked again as more blasts hit their shields. Shields at 41%, Greg reported. We can't take much more of this. Ma'am, Lisa called out. I've got a direct line to Earth Command, and I've managed to patch into the Council meeting. We can send them live feed. Do it, Olivia said. Let them see what's happening. Back at Proxima Station, John Mitchell sat through another boring speech about trade routes. Suddenly, his private screen lit up with an urgent message from Earth Command. At the same time, the main display in the Council chamber flickered. What is the meaning of this interruption? Demanded the Council leader, a tall being with 6 eyes. The screen showed the bridge of the U.S. frontier. Smoke filled the air as crew members worked frantically at damaged stations. Major Carter's face appeared, a cut on her forehead bleeding. This is Major Olivia Carter of the Earth vessel U.S. Frontier, she said, her voice breaking up. We are under unprovoked attack by Vraxian warships in Council-approved research space. We have not returned fire. requesting immediate assistance. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. John stood up, his face hard as stone. "Explain this at once," he said, looking directly at Krastor, the Vraxian ambassador. The Vraxian's scaled face showed no emotion. "Your vessel was in a restricted area. This is merely a security response." "The Vega Nebula is not restricted space," John said. "We filed all proper notices with the Council. Your ships are violating at least 6 different Council peace treaties." On the screen, another blast hit the frontier. Sparks flew across the bridge, and a crew member fell to the floor. "Shields failing." Someone called out on the ship. Olivia looked directly into the camera. "Ambassador, we have followed all protocols. We have not returned fire even though we are clearly under attack." "What are your orders?" Every alien in the council chamber was watching now. Some looked concerned, others curious, and a few seemed almost pleased at humanity's trouble. John Mitchell felt a cold anger grow inside him. For 3 years, he had played the polite diplomat. He had accepted the smallest seat in the chamber, the fewest mining rights, and constant disrespect, all to show that humans could be trusted. "What will you do now, Ambassador?" asked Councillor Drav with fake concern. "Perhaps you should surrender your vessel to avoid further misunderstandings." John looked around the chamber, taking in every face. Then he turned back to the screen where Olivia waited, her ship falling apart around her. "Major Carter," he said clearly, making sure everyone could hear him. "Protocol Omega is now in effect." Olivia's eyes widened slightly. "Sir, are you certain?" "The Council." "The Council is watching," John said. "Let them see exactly what happens when humanity's polite mode is shut off." Krastor stood up. "What is this Protocol Omega? What is polite mode?" John ignored him and spoke to Olivia. "You are authorized to use full defensive capabilities. All restrictions are lifted." On the screen, Olivia nodded. A small smile appeared on her bloodied face. "Understood, Ambassador. Polite mode off." She turned to her crew. "You heard the Ambassador. Show these Vraxians what a human ship can really do." The screen went black for a moment. When it came back on, the bridge of the frontier looked different. Hidden panels had opened, revealing advanced weapon systems. The crew moved with new purpose, no longer trying to seem less capable than they were. The council chamber was silent as everyone watched the human ship transform before their eyes. John Mitchell stood by the large window, looking at the stars. The space station hung in the darkness like a silver flower. Blue, green, and purple lights blinked along its 5 paddle-shaped arms. This was Proxima Station, home of the Galactic Council. John straightened his dark blue uniform. The small Earth flag on his chest seemed too small next to the Grand Council symbol. He had been Earth's ambassador for 3 years now. 3 years of careful words, polite smiles, and hiding his true thoughts. "Ambassador Mitchell, the council will begin in 10 minutes, said his assistant, Kate Wilson. John nodded. "Thank you, Kate. Are our reports ready?" "Yes, sir. All data on Earth's mining operations and colony progress is prepared. I've highlighted the parts the Council cares about most, and hidden the parts they don't need to know," John added with a small smile. Kate returned the smile. "Of course, polite mode is still active." That phrase had become common among humans in space. Polite mode meant acting smaller than they were, seeming less clever than they were, and always following the Council's many rules. Earth was the newest member of the Galactic Council, joining only after they proved they could travel faster than light. The other 46 alien species had been together much longer. Many still saw humans as dangerous children who needed to be carefully watched. John walked with Kate down the long hallway. The walls were made of a strange metal that changed colors as they passed. It was beautiful, but also a reminder that humans were far behind in many technologies. "How is Major Carter's mission going?" John asked quietly. Kate checked her datapad. "The U.S. frontier is at the edge of mapped space, studying energy patterns near the Vega Nebula. Everything is normal so far. Good. I want regular updates even during the council meeting. Olivia is the best captain we have, but that area is too close to Vraxian space for comfort. The Vraxians were tall, gray-skinned aliens with 4 arms and reptile-like heads. Their empire was old and powerful, and they made no secret of thinking humans were beneath them. John and Kate reached the council chambers. The huge round room had 50 seats arranged in rising circles. At the center was a speaking platform and a large holographic display. Most of the seats were already filled with representatives from across the galaxy. The Shorian ambassador, a being made of what looked like blue crystal, nodded to John. The Trilaxians, who resembled giant furry spiders, clicked their mandibles in greeting. John responded to each with the proper gestures he had spent months learning. "Ah, the Earth representative arrives," said Counselor Drav, an ancient alien with pale skin and 7 fingers on each hand. "We were discussing the expansion of mining rights in the Orient sector. I hope Earth's application will be considered fairly this time," John said with a polite smile that didn't reach his eyes. "All applications are considered fairly," said Krastor, the Vraxian ambassador. His voice was like stones grinding together. "Though some species have proven their worth over centuries, while others are still proving themselves." John bit back the response he wanted to give. Instead, he bowed slightly. "Earth is patient. We understand our place as newcomers." As the meeting began, John took his seat. The smallest seat, in the highest ring, furthest from the center. Earth's place as the newest, least important member. On the ship U.S. Frontier, Major Olivia Carter looked at her crew working at their stations. The research vessel was small but advanced, with a crew of 30. They had been mapping strange energy readings for 2 weeks now. "Major, I'm getting some odd readings," said Lieutenant Greg Foster at the sensor station. "There's a ship approaching." "No, 3 ships." Olivia moved quickly to his side. "Identification." Greg's face grew serious. "Vraxian warships, ma'am. Heavy class." "That's well outside their territory," Olivia said. "Open communications and inform Earth Command and the Council. We need to follow protocol exactly." "Yes, Mom," said Communications Officer Lisa Pottle. "Opening channels now." Olivia watched the screen as 3 large, pointed ships came into view. A feeling of worry grew in her stomach. Vraxians never traveled this far without a reason, and rarely was that reason good for anyone else. "Ma'am," Lisa said, her voice tight. "They're not responding to hails, and they've activated weapon systems." Olivia's worry turned to alarm. "Shields up. Continue hailing them. Remind them we're in Council space on an approved mission." The first blast hit before she finished speaking.